Call to order the Village of Manong Workshop, Thursday, May 12th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. Roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Present.
Trustee Lopez.
Present.
Trustee Mercer.
Present.
Trustee Archuleta.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Mercer, would you do the prayer, and Trustee Archuleta the pledge?
Yes, sir.
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather here today to conduct business for the village. Guide our steps and our decisions that would be beneficial for both the village and for the residents of the village. Guide and direct us. We pray these things in Christ's name.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizens to address the board. Do you have any citizens that want to address the board? If not, we will move on to discussion items. Hearing for 2022, 2023 budget.
Alright, so I did, excuse me, I did put together a slideshow to go over, what you guys are looking at. You got two packets at the beginning of the meeting. The one is the entire budget, and then I gave you another one that's the confidential until it's voted on, which we'll do next week. That's the salaries. So what's budgeted in the budget, you can look under the salaries and see what it is broke down there. Okay? So this is a recap that I put together. So every GL is in the packet that I gave to you. I put this together so that it looks like the one that you guys see in LGBMS. The LGBMS is the one that you see every quarter, so that I wanted it to be as close to that as possible. So this is our estimated cash carryover going into fiscal year 22-23. These, I believe, will go up more. I put them very conservatively. These are our savings accounts, our investments. This is our predicted revenues for fiscal year 22-23. Our expenditures, one thing I want to note is our revenues are predicted higher than our expenditures. So we won't be touching our cash balances, and that's always a goal. So this is just that spreadsheet. The reserves, that comes from the state. I won't know exactly what that is until they tell us. So this is what we should be able to carry over into fiscal year 23-24, if all goes as planned. So this is a different spreadsheet, a different way of looking at it. I really wanted to make the point that every department, what we have budgeted, the revenues are higher than the expenditures, except for this one. And that's because we already have this money. So this $200,000 will actually be a carryover. So it's right here in the carryover. So then we have to budget the whole thing. That's the ARPA funding. So just a different way to look at it. Same thing, revenue projections by department. It's broke down in there. On the spreadsheet, you can see each GL. Then there's a little box to the right that has the revenues and expenditures, so that it all carried over and make sure. One of the things to note is we will not have LEDA anymore. We did make our final LEDA payment. So we don't have any more LEDA funds. So this won't be there next year. Starting in July 1st, it'll go away. So that's something to keep in mind. Our expenditures, same thing. You can compare those to the sheets that I gave you, where the budgets are. Make sure that we're staying within budget. We did budget fuel up quite a bit, and supplies, things that inflation have really showed us lately that we needed a little bigger budget in. The most important thing that I can say is our predicted revenues far exceed our predicted expenditures. So we should have some carryover going into next year. This is the ARPA fund carryover that I was talking about earlier. We have that money right now, so that will be part of the expenditure for the 658,000. Another look at the recap, just so you guys can compare back and forth, revenues, same thing. And then we'll go to the salaries budget. So I wanted to go over salaries a little bit, for the budget part. What we were told we have to do, or start working towards, is our salaries should be between 70 and 80% of our overall budget. That's where we need to get to. We're at about 45% now. So we're working that way, getting our people paid what they should be paid. What we want to do is make them, show them how valuable they really are to us. So we're working towards that. It's going to take time. Linda reminds me every day, we don't have to do it all at once. We can take steps to get there so that we can do it the right way. The other thing that we needed to remember to do was to budget the employer portion of benefits, insurance, para, health, retiree health. That hasn't always been done in the past, and then we had to make budget adjustments as we went. So that is all budgeted correctly in the salaries budget. Salary don'ts. You don't budget under what's the expected highest pay of the year. So if minimum wage is going up in January, then you budget from July 1st at that higher rate. So that we don't have to budget adjustment in the middle of the year. If we wanted to impose that as of the new fiscal year, it's already budgeted and it's ready. So that's an important thing. And then always leave a little negotiation room for new positions that we're filling. New positions that we're filling or proposing to fill for fiscal year 23 is an animal control officer, ordinance and regulation assistants. So you might explain this, Miss Linda?
Okay. Once we hired our animal control individual code enforcement, we found out that there were some requirements by the state that had to be filled. And that was the floodplain stuff, and that's quite a job. She's starting to train that. Right now she's trying to do all the jobs, but as of July, we actually need to hire somebody to take on the animal control and to assist her with the floodplain stuff and the code enforcement. So we put together the basically the 2 or 3 positions to assist so that we can get caught up to what is required by the state for floodplains.
So that's one of the positions that we're proposing to add. The other ones is 2 additional part-time lifeguards. We've discussed at length having extended swimming pool hours, things like that. In order to do that, we do need more employees there. So that would allow us to have different hours of operation. We also budgeted another streets worker, and that streets worker we're hoping can be a CDL driver. Riley right now is handling streets by himself. So the other teams hop in and help him, but we would like him to have some full-time assistance that helps him keep up with. There's a lot of streets in one.
And we are also looking into the possibility of getting some of our employees trained on CDL.
Right. And then the last one that we're proposing is a Parks and Recreation supervisor. So that would be a supervisor. We have managers basically in those positions. We have a parks manager, we have a recreation manager, but we need somebody to supervise all of that. Get it back where it needs to be, get those things moving. that's our hope and our goal, and then we can include the pool into that as well.
Right now, we only got one person in parks as well, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is manual.
Yep, manual, and then
So
in
are we gonna
recreation,
hire-
we only have
What
one.
we're gonna use, part-time for parks.
So we have, part-time positions for the summer already.
Right.
So we actually started advertising for them for the summer, so those are still included in there,
We still may have to look for one more, at least one more laborer for parks.
yeah.
Are these gonna be
Oh,
offered
yeah, we have
in-house
the-
also?
I'm sorry?
Are these positions gonna be offered in-house to anybody, or?
Yes.
Okay.
We always offer, even though we've been running them at the same time, we consider in-house prior to the public.
So the changes to the salaries this year, using the salary schedule that we adopted, we had big goals. We wanted to get them all where they should be, but it just wasn't fiscally sound for us to do that. So, with everybody's input, we said we would try and at least get those who are, eligible for the midterm on the pay scale, at least to that point. So that was one of the things that we worked on. And because we have so much catching up to do, we're gonna have to take steps. We may not be able to get to max next year. It may take us 3 or 4 years to get there. The one thing that we want to do, or we have done, is we made it, the same for insurance across the board. Somewhere back in the 90s, I wanna say, the state started a scale of how much you paid for your insurance based on your salary. Well, they've learned real quick that that wasn't fair. And so they got rid of it, but the Village of Juan kept it. So we're getting rid of that this year. So it'll be 80-20 across the board. The employees will pay 20% and the village will pay 80. And then minimum wage, like I talked about earlier, is going up to $12 as of January 1st. So that affects the overall salary budgets. Everybody needs to move a little bit to account for that. And then, one of our, proposals for this year was for the employer to pay 1% more on the para. And that would give every employee a little bump to their paycheck. And everybody needs that right now, especially with the chaos in the economy. This does have to be approved by resolution, the 1% to para. So that resolution we should see next week at the meeting.
Ask Randy if he can
Yes.
provide that for us.
So the salary that you presented to us last meeting that we adopted,
Yes, that's just a schedule. That's just the planning document. It's
Right.
not what they actually get.
okay,
It's
so
a
that's why,
guideline.
Yeah.
that's why you're saying we didn't get them all up to where they need to be, is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, so that was our planning document, so we wanna get them all at least to mid-range if they're eligible
Mid-range.
for mid-range. And so that gives us a 9-year plan of where
Right.
we need to be to get our employees where they should be. And it's gonna change yearly because minimum wage is changing yearly.
Right.
But, it's a good jumping off spot
Okay.
for us. You do have in your packet, it's marked confidential because it hasn't been voted
Yeah, I
on.
seen it.
And that's what actual pay will be for this year.
Okay.
So again, this is just the final recap, the conclusion of it. I did estimate the cash carryover low, cause I won't know what that carryover is gonna be until June 30th. So we could get a big influx of money, or we could have a big bill come up. So it's really iffy when you're trying to predict this so early in the year. Investments are the same. This revenues, an important point to make is it does not include the new, Cannabis Regulation Act. They asked us not to budget it. I know we've talked about this a few times, but they're asking us to wait for a whole quarter before we make any budgets on expenditures or revenues. And anything that it does to support any other funds, we have to use a transfer in and transfer out. So we will do those in budget adjustments as the year goes on. So this will, I have faith, go up quite a bit, our revenues. Our expenditures, we went over that. this expenditures does include all the salaries, all the benefits that are in that confidential pack. It's all included in there. It's all budgeted already. So we can look and see that with our cash, you add the cash, add your investments, add your revenues, subtract your expenditures, and that gives you your balance. We touched on this a little bit. The mandatory reserve, I never know. We don't have an ordinance in the Village of Milan that says we have to keep this much. Usually when we put our stuff into DFA, they say, oh, this is how much a reserve should be. So once that's done, this number will change. But this is about the average that it's been the last few years. And then this is our adjusted balance. That's after all the cash balances are carried over. We get our revenues for the year. We pay all our bills for the year. I said it. Bills for the year. This is what we should be able to carry over into fiscal year 23-24 if everything goes as we have planned. We're getting those coffers caught back filled full of funds for us for projects and things that we wanted to do that we hadn't been able to. So that's where we're at on that. You guys have any questions? Is there any public comments?
Any questions?
It is a lot.
When you talked about the CDL for, if one of our employees that's already here, they want to get their CDL, does the village pay for a CDL or do they have to pay their?
We can. We have employee training budgets. There are opportunities through municipalities that we can get them those kinds of trainings, so we can pay for it. We can work out something else, and then those are the kinds of things that the salary schedule helps, because then we can look at rewarding them for that.
Okay.
So that will be what we will vote on. The exact document you have will be voted on. It won't change anymore. Denise and Gabby were great help to me, because when we do these kinds of things, everything has to match. Tyler has to match, LGPMS by fund, in aggregate, and in total. And I was off by like $1,000 and a few cents. And the girls helped me all day find where that was, so thank you for that. So it won't change. It'll be the same next week. It may change by final budget, but we're just voting on the interim right now. Again, the final budget will have the right cash balances, it'll have the correct carryovers, those kinds of things.
Anybody else? No? If not, I need a motion. No?
Workshop.
Oh, a workshop. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, discussions.
For your agenda for next week, I will have a resolution for Transportation Project Fund. We are looking at applying for money for Willow Drive. This will be full start to finish construction, planning, designing, water, wastewater, drainage, sidewalks, curb and gutter, everything. That road needs a lot. We also have an ordinance enacting expenditure accounting reporting. Do you want to elaborate on that one?
The state is wanting us to require more accounting, more oversight and accounting for money that we give to other organizations. And so this ordinance requires them to report. And if they don't report, we do not have to fund them for 2 years. Do you have any additional?
I don't, can you figure out if that applies to JP?
It says,
Okay, we also have an ordinance that we will need direction on next week for the fireworks. This will be to prohibit sales within the Village of Milan. Because of the fire ban, it's probably a good idea to start thinking ahead. Linda brought this up last week, and I will need direction next week in order to get that one going. We're also looking at opting in for elections for next year. We're way ahead of it on this one. We have until June of next year to get this submitted. But this will be so that the county will run the village elections. We'll still have our polling places and everything, but there are only, I believe, 18 municipalities that have not opted in. We're one of them. So a lot of them are, and it's been very beneficial, and it will save money. Water rates. We are looking at increasing the water rates, 4% coming up this fiscal. Some municipalities are going 5. We're gonna try to stick to 4. We don't wanna hit people with a whole lot. Eileen and I looked at it today, and it's around $1.25 per household. Basically, it's not a big jump, but it will help us with our revenue. I believe that is all that I have. Yes. And good news is on Airport Road, we're getting ready to go out to bid. So we're looking at having a pre-bid construction meeting on June 2nd. So hopefully we can get that project out and get it started.
So we all had to sit in a training yesterday, and I think that you guys should be aware of this. The state has, they made a mandatory meeting yesterday, and we all sat in on it. It's called PCI DSS compliance. And so what that is if you're processing credit cards or ACHs, you have to have the secure network or the insurance to cover it. So it all kind of got thrown on us yesterday. We're definitely researching it. We use a third party, so everything from our system is secure when it leaves. So we should be okay, but that is due with the interim budget. So when I give you all the interim budget files, it will be in there. Just so it's not shocking to you. It's basically cybersecurity, making sure that nobody hacks us or that we're insured against that kind of thing. So, just a heads up. Oh, yeah. That's all I have.
Okay, that's it.
Anything else? No? Okay, now we go to the announcements. Planning and zoning meeting Thursday, June 2nd, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. Board of Trustees workshop Thursday, June 9th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. Board of Trustees regular meeting Thursday, June 16th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. Now we go to board comments. Trustee Mercer.
I'd just like to say thank you to Candy and the girls in the front office because when it comes to budget, I know how hard that is. I appreciate your hard work for all that. And that's it.
Trustee Archuleta.
I'll echo Trustee Mercer with that. Thank you guys a lot for all your efforts. All you ladies are doing a great job. Thank you to the fire department today. We stood out there with them today collecting donations. Is this live or is this going to be posted later? Will it be posted by tonight? Okay, well, just a reminder to come out tomorrow before 11. They're still taking donations. Whatever you can help out with is great. They're making the effort to take it out there because the people really need it out there. The firefighters, the people that are stuck leaving their homes, and also prayers for them and their families and the firefighters as well. Other than that, that's all I got for right now.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Brumble.
Just want to say thank you for working on the budget, and everything looks good. I'll repeat to what Chris said, that come out and, help support us to send the stuff to up north to the people that need it. We'll be there tomorrow again, so it's going really well. Thanks to Chris and Mr. Mercer for being out there, and the fire chief and his crew that were there today. Thank you.
Trustee Lopez.
The same, just wanna say thank you to the girls working on the budget. It's a lot of work and time and stuff, looks good. and also for the Red Cross for the donations that we're getting. Up north is really, hits home with me because that's where I come from, so it's been pretty hard to watch on the news, all this land that's just burning and stuff, so prayers for all the families that are displaced and have had their homes burned and stuff, so that's it.
Thank you. I want to thank all the employees for the Village of Milan. All our employees do such a great job all the time that they're, the fire department today, I mean, they went beyond their regular duties to help out. For us that were there at the donations, I was there part-time, being that I'm the oldest, I guess. I was there part-time, but I did go around businesses collecting, talking to the businesses about donating. I went to the radio station today and I pitched our donations, and at the radio station I emphasized that we here at the Village of Milan, we're family, and as a family we're doing this together. So next, too bad the baseball team lost today. The Pirates lost today, so but they did go further than last year. And Laguna also lost in the state bid Saturday, so but all those kids, they did a really good job. And last, I want to congratulate Miss Garcia, Kelly Garcia. When we went to the college, I went to the college for their ceremonies, for graduation ceremonies. This lady's smart, let me tell you. The awards that she got, she's very, very smart, and so whatever she does in the future, I wish her well, because she's a good person.
You do want to say kindergarten will be here Monday.
Oh yes, the kindergarten class will be here Monday at 9 o'clock, I believe.
No,
At
9:30.
9:30, and they will be served with some goodies, and fire department, police department will be out there. We can be there, all of us, if you can make it. I'll be there for the kids, and anything else? Yes, sir.
So the presentation Les gave us on the trailheads and all the trails, so he invited, I called him for donations from Stewart Brothers, but he is inviting everybody to go up for that dedication tomorrow night at 5:30 at the campground up on Taylor. There'll be hot dogs, hamburgers, things of that nature.
Okay, thank you. If nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Chuleta, second by trustee Mercer. Mayor Pro Tem Brumbo,
Yes.
trustee Lopez,
Yes.
trustee Mercer,
Yes.
trustee Chuleta.
Yes.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.